Call the roll.
Erickson.
Yes.
Bevins.
Here.
Chezak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Here.
Stunek. Yeager.
Yes.
O'Day.
Here.
Bedell.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have approval of the agenda. Mr. Chezak, did you have an amendment?
That's on consent, I do, so I'll just make it now. I want to pull minutes and just have a quick amendment of the minutes. So
Okay.
I would move to approve the agenda as well.
Second.
Motion by Chezak, second by Bevins. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. We have an agenda. Next, we have the consent calendar. You did remove the minutes, so we'll have that next.
Yep.
But looking for a motion to
So moved.
Second.
consent. Motion by Chezak, second by Bevins. Any discussion? Tony, call the roll.
Erickson.
Yes.
Bevins.
Yes.
Chezak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Yeager.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes. Next item is the minutes from last meeting. Mr. Chezak?
Yeah, the one item where the motion was to, I guess I would just ask staff to come back in an email clarifying the minutes for the item with the Crow Wing County data request. It's, the minutes indicate we're asking for the 2025 point-in-time data, and we're we're asking for the data they submitted, the records of when they submitted it, and not so much the data itself, but when they submitted it, so we have an idea of when they sent it.
Okay.
That was how my motion read, but that's all I would ask, and then if you could just send us that in an email, unless that's what we asked for, because that's not what the minutes say, so
Okay.
I would just
Move
move
that
that.
in a motion.
Yeah, I'll move that we just clarify the minutes from that item.
Second.
Motion by Chezak, second by Yeager. More discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have number 6. This is public forum. This is time allocated for citizens to bring matters not on the agenda to the attention of the council. Time limits may be imposed. We usually try to keep it to a few minutes, but if you are here to address the council on anything that's not on the agenda, please come forward. Just state your name and address first, please.
My name is Logan Klisch. Address is 824 N Street Northeast. I'm here in regards of Gustafson Park. As of January 19th, the petition I started in opposition to the development of the park had 120 signatures. 64% of these individuals live within 15 minutes of the park. And that is provided to me based upon what change.org gives me for the radius. The remaining 36% are individuals whose lives have been impacted or know someone who has been impacted by this park one way or another, whether they still live in the area or not. According to Zillow, also yesterday on January 19th, there were 12 homes for sale, all in Northeast Brainerd. 6 of these are on the west side of Mill Ave, the side that Gustafson Park is on. By developing this park, what are we really gaining? If housing, why couldn't a developer come in and update these homes that are already for sale, since they are already existing homes, versus destroying this green space that we value? To me, it comes down to quality over quantity. Is the quality of the neighborhood worth the quantity that you're going to gain from these extra few houses and extra few tax dollars? Like Mr. Nathan said at the last meeting, if mowing is an issue, let me know. I'll happily go over there and mow it. Not a big deal for me. And I encourage you all to think about this from not my generation or my parents' generation and so on, but rather the generation, my kids, our kids' kids. Think of it of how it can impact them. If it's impacted 120 people that I've been able to reach online, how many more people has it impacted that have not voiced anything, and how many people can it impact with years to come? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Chezak.
if that's the only person speaking, I have a question for staff on that.
Okay. We'll see if there's anybody else. There's handful more people. Yeah, please come forward. Just state your name and address, please.
My name is Susan Bolio. I live at 1324 8th Avenue Northeast, so we're like a block from Gustafson Park, and I'm here today with my kiddos. We use the park regularly. We go over there to play soccer, softball, frisbee, fly kites. When they have friends over, we go over to the park and we use it. It's a regular place that we go as a family, and in addition, we've been talking with our neighbors, Logan included, and there are very few green spaces left in our community, in places where community can gather. And we've been talking about having community gatherings, bringing people together. We're at a time right now in not just in our town, but in our nation, where we need to be coming together as communities, spending time together, building relationships together. There are very few places like that anymore in Brainerd. And so we really ask you, and I'm hoping one of my kids will be brave enough to come up here and tell you what the park means to them, because we use it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. You coming up, bud?
Come on up.
Come here. Can I,
Yeah.
is there a way to like,
Just should be able to bend it down. There
can
you
you
go.
reach there?
Don't scare them, Kelly.
So you just tell him your name.
My name is Asher Camden, and me and my dad would play catch there, and I would have a lot of fun. And I hit it really far, and then it almost hit a house.
Oh, man. You got to build a taller fence then, huh? Anything else,
Do you want
bud?
to say about the park?
You still got 2.5 minutes.
Do you want them to keep it a park so that you can keep using it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like the park, all right.
Tell them, don't take my park.
Yeah.
Asher, come here.
Please don't take my park.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Anyone else coming up? Yeah, come on up. Just name and address, please.
My name is Lydia Campen, and I live on 1324 8th Avenue Northeast. And I just really want to keep that park because there are other kids that have been playing there. I remember seeing lots of cars inside of a line, kids wanting to play there, and there's just like what my mom said, there's not that many places that you can do that. That's a really big place, and I remember also playing catch with my dad, playing other stuff, and it was super, super fun. So I do not want that park to go. It's really, really fun to play at. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to come up? If there's anybody online, press *3 so that raises your hand, lets us know you want to speak. I think we have anybody on there. Just Eric. We'll save him for the end. I'll ask one more time if there's anybody that wants to come up and approach the council. Looks like we don't have anybody, so we will close the public forum at 7:38. Oh, Jeff, did you have something?
Yeah, I know it's, I guess I'd ask the city attorney if there would be a liability issue if we asked somebody, the public, to mow the park. And then the other question would be, can we stop them from just voluntarily going over there and doing that?
Mr. Langle, do you have an answer?
Yeah, council, can you stop them? Sure. You can direct them you can direct anyone to not maintain city property. Is there a liability issue? Yes, there's a liability issue because you're not a city employee. They're not covered by workers' comp. They're not covered by your city policies. Are there ways to deal with that through waivers and so forth? Yeah, I suppose we could figure something out if the city council was really in favor of that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You bet. All right, that is it for public forum. Next, we have number 7, presentations. If you were just here for public forum, you're welcome to stay, but if you want to get up and go, that's up to you too. Number 7 is presentations. This 7A is a presentation from the YMCA requesting to fund a community pool at the new Brainerd YMCA. I believe we have Shane Riffle. Come on up, Shane.
lift this back up. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I want to open by saying that as a 8-year citizen and resident of the area and business leader, you hear about so many bad things in the world, and to be here today to see this process of government is just really inspiring. And, I'm just really proud to be a part of the YMCA and the community, and thank you guys for coming out. It's pretty awesome. And the Y is a part of the community, and I believe that you all received a packet, and I wanted to be in front of you tonight to review that because we are ready to take a few steps forward, I believe. So just a quick overview of what's in the packet. It details our history as a YMCA in the community, a railroad YMCA. We've been around since 1889. The Y has been around since 1844. So we have a lot of longevity. It talks about our impact, the meals we provide, the youth that we serve, the seniors, just the many benefits of being a Y member, as not just a member, but as a person in the community who has access to the programs and opportunities that we provide. And we are here tonight to move forward the process of partnership with the city of Brainerd. I believe that's really important and an important statement that this isn't just a YMCA project, which is here for the kids and families, but it's a project with our anchor partners, hospital systems, the city of Brainerd, potentially another another governmental organization. So it isn't just us going alone. I'd like to also remind you of the community benefit. We have done an economic impact study, and by partnering with us to get this new YMCA built, we'll have about a $51.9 million economic impact. So beyond that mission type impact, it's going to generate business. It's going to help amplify the momentum that we have of lifting up downtown Brainerd. So here's where we've made progress. We've had a lot of generative meetings with city staff and really honed in on what we would like that ask to be, and it's $4 million. We've also had several meetings with municipal advisors and talked about the different funding pathways. We did put out an RFP and had discussions, and where we landed was that the preferred, municipal advisor would be who you're already working with, and that would be Baker Tilly. So that kind of leads us to our request for tonight would be that, just out of transparency, that you're fully aware that it's a $4 million ask as a partner, one of many partners in this capital stack with the YMCA, and that we ask staff to work with Baker Tilly to bring back at a subsequent meeting their proposal for a mechanism to fund this project. I think that's what I wanted, and I just wanted to be here to see if there were any questions. We've talked about this for quite a while now. I believe it was back in May when I made the first presentation. I would say that we've had a lot of really generative discussions, but I don't think you've had the opportunity to ask any questions. Sure. So just wanted to be here tonight to give you that opportunity as well.
Sure. Well, let's open up to the council. Anybody have questions? Mr. Yeager?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Shane. Always great to see you. Appreciate everything you do. And I just have a couple quick questions. On your capital stack, you have two columns. Can you describe for me the difference between the left and the right?
The scope.
Okay, it's a range.
Yes, sir.
Understood. We make up 100% of your municipal asks. We're not going to, you're not looking to the county, you're not looking to other surrounding communities. According to this, we make up 100% of the municipal ask.
Yes, for this
That's all I
project.
need to know. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Yeager. Mr. Chesak?
Good evening. I heard you say there may be a possibility of another government entity or municipality. Did you not?
I struggled to describe them correctly. Actually, who I'm referring to is Sourcewell. We are, pardon?
Who?
Sourcewell.
Sourcewell, okay.
Yes. Yeah, part of our plan is to put a family resource center inside the Y. We have 3 years been working on that, and there is a strategic plan that we've been working on under a project called Community Bridge Makers, and it's under a mental health initiative of that. There's 3 parts to that. There's social cohesion, workforce development, and mental health, and I've been working on that aspect. We've formed a strategic plan, and we also hired consultants to build a Region 5 recommendation on what a Family Resource Center network might look like. The strategic plan specifically calls for a Family Resource Center inside the YMCA, and the consultants in their recommendation that's being presented to the leadership at Sourcewell calls for that same part.
Okay, so you also indicated a roughly 50 million economic impact,
Yes, sir.
and that impact just wouldn't be exclusive to Brainerd, right?
Crow Wing itself.
Brainerd Lakes area, yes, Crow Wing County.
And you haven't got any other government entity other than Sourcewell who's completely like nobody on there has actually worked for the people elect or anything. So I got to be honest with you, transparency.
Sure.
It seems like Brainerd's always carrying the ball for the county, for Baxter. We can go on and on for different things that, so how would you square this with me here on the council representing exclusively the citizens of Northeast and subsequent Brainerd, that your tax dollars are going to pay for an aquatic center is how you posted this?
Sure.
Okay, so I want to get one thing first. What is an aquatic center? And when I hear a resource center, is this all part of what you're asking for?
No, sir.
Okay.
The aquatic center is the natatorium. That is the aquatics part of it.
Okay.
This is something that is quite common amongst YMCA's where they partner with a city to build a pool. That's what I didn't mention was the partnership part of it. Within the jurisdiction of Brainerd, we are offering that, it becomes a city pool. That I think what Baker Tilly may come back and say is a recommendation who actually owns it. At a prior job in Boise, Idaho, the city actually, it was one building, but it was condoed, and the city owned the aquatic center, and there was an operating agreement where the YMCA managed it, operated it, and ran it. So it could look a lot of different ways. I think that's what we would get from the recommendation from Baker Tilly and staff. But through that partnership, there's a lot of amenities that would go out to the residents of the Brainerd jurisdiction. For instance, instead of having to be a member or pay a day pass, for a fraction of that cost, the kids and families could come in and swim and use it as a pool. We're talking with the school district to run programs where all third graders would be able to come to the Y, go through a water safety and instruction program so that they're safe in and around water. And there's probably about 3 or 4 other different bullet points that, and this isn't an exhaustive list, we could certainly talk about other benefits that would be for Brainerd jurisdiction residents. And then another part of your question is, we do have a relationship with our neighbors in Baxter. They own Camp Vanasek, which we operate and run about 369 kids during the summer, about 220 kids a day. They own it and lease it to us at no rent. So that's kind of where Baxter supports the YMCA and our efforts for the community as well. And, even though it's in Baxter, it doesn't just serve Baxter residents. Children from Brainerd come over and use the camp as well.
And then as far as our bond council Baker Tilly, who would pay their services for this?
That would be inclusive in their recommendation for funding.
Okay. Do you have programs like where you have, okay, so for instance, in grade school, all the kids had gym class together, and you're out on the playground. A lot of times the girls are playing with the boys, and that's the mix of boy and girl. But do you have programs over there where you have teams? And I think I've heard you have T-ball and that type of thing. That's for the little kids, right? And do you have other older kids or adult type sports that you sponsor as the Y that people sign up for?
We do adult volleyball.
Okay.
But really it's through that teenage is where our sweet spot is with youth sports. Adults do come in and play basketball. Really, an emerging population for us as well is the senior population. We're involved with Brainerd for All Ages, which I think you're all pretty familiar with, I believe. A coalition trying to help improve the livability of specifically just Brainerd is our focus area. But that is a population that in a new YMCA, we do have amenities that are targeted at that teenage and young adult, those years that we currently, there's just not as much as there should be for.
So is it intramural, most of your organized events that or sports participants?
Volleyball is a league. Basketball is just open play.
Is it for men and women combined?
Co-ed.
Co-ed, okay. Okay, all of your sports leagues are co-ed?
All of our, well, no. Traditionally, they were co-ed, but what we're finding is at particular ages, girls are a little bit apprehensive about joining even co-ed. So we've created girls-only 3-on-3 basketball, girls basketball clinics, and likely this upcoming summer, we're going to create a girls flag football league.
Would you then let boys participate with girls in those leagues?
I would have to think about that. I don't know. It's a good question.
Okay. Well, I got my answer. If you got to think about it.
Is that all, Mr. Chesak?
That's all for now. Yep.
Mr. Erickson?
One real quick question about going back to regional partners. You mentioned Region 5. Is that the Region 5, I'm the liaison to the Region 5 Development Commission.
Right.
Is that Sourcewell or the Region 5 Development Commission?
Sourcewell
They serve the same
is
area.
Sourcewell's lined up with the mental health under Community Bridge Makers, but as you know, Sourcewell serves Region 5. Region 5 is aligned with the social cohesion part of that Community Bridge Makers
More
work.
than Sourcewell's geography of.
Exactly,
Got it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Erickson? Questions over here, guys? Okay. I think you answered my main question is if the city of Brainerd is going to make a big donation in this project, what would be the impact for our residents? And if you're already thinking about some type of discount or some type of inclusion for swimming, that's definitely what I was looking for. But it is a big ask, so I think what you're looking for is not an answer yes or no tonight, but whether or not we want our staff to look into what that would look like. How would we fund that? And I'm looking at Connie Hillman right now. I'm sure she's got some ideas. If you want to chime in, go for it.
I think at this point, we would have to bond for any contribution that we would do, and so we would work with Baker Tilly to what type of bond we could issue.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Mr. Chesak.
Yeah, I have one more question. It's YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association.
It is.
What do you do to promote Christianity?
Our values. Open, we welcome everybody, that sense of kindness, and I could tell you story after story. Just last week, how a senior dealing with her husband with cancer, how she's just struggling. Her community of water aerobics, they got together, and it was almost like an intervention. They bought 2 weeks worth of meals, gift cards, blankets, and as she was coming outside of her class, she looked over and was kind of questioning what's going on, and they just totally surprised her. But it was one of the most just a really awesome thing for me to be there and watch and be a part of. Those are the types of communities of people rallying, lifting each other up in times of need. So I would say it's the values of Christ, how we live them every day.
Do you have any programming like you would sponsor, like related to a Bible study or anything like that?
We don't, but I have in the past.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Mr. Bevins.
Just a question, and it's really more for staff, and that's at this point it appears that the ask is to discuss funding options and what the scenario might look like, and to me that seems like a good idea. My question is, does Baker Tilly charge us money to do that?
I do believe they only charge us money when we actually issue the debt. This would
That's-
just be,
Yep. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
that is my understanding anyway.
Okay. All right.
I have a motion when you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'd move to direct staff to work with Baker Tilly to find funding options to build a community pool at the new YMCA facility, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Any discussion on that motion? Mr. Jezak?
Yeah, I will support the motion, but as soon as we go out for bonding, that our taxpayers got to support this as a private entity. Private. I can't support it. So I'll go along with this part of it. Actually, I'll be not supporting this. I think we're making a mistake. We shouldn't be supporting private entities. It's just, as much as I think they may be doing a fantastic job on some things, I don't know what we're doing here, sitting here suggesting even moving forward with giving upwards of $4 million of taxpayer money for a aquatic center, a resource center, whatever it might be, when we have a hard time covering everything we want to do that has nothing to do with supporting a private entity. And that's where I'm at.
Thank
Am
you,
I
Mr.
permitted to
Jezak.
speak anymore?
Mr. Yeager?
Yeah, just real quickly, I support the motion here, Gabe. I just wanted to make sure, Connie said she thinks there's no cost to do the bonding study. I just want to find out if there is a cost to do the bonding study before we green light to do the bonding study, but I just don't have any idea how much that would be, but.
Do you have a more detailed answer?
How much are we talking? If there is.
I don't. I know that I've contacted them before. They've given me different scenarios, and we have not been billed for them, but I could check with them. Mr. Habegorst just reminded me that the council did approve up to $5,000 in August to be used for an RFP process. We're not going to use that money. Maybe we could use it for this if there is a charge.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Johnson?
Yeah, I'll just speak to the motion. You know, I support it. I don't, kind of as a response to Jeff, but I'm directing it to you, Council President. I don't think this is necessarily a private entity like we're giving, Kmart money or anything like that. This is an organization that provides a lot of benefit to our community, and they're trying to build for another generation of providing benefits to our community. And it's us investing in ourselves and our community. And that's how I view moving forward with this. I'm a little biased. My kids are YMCA kids. I was a YMCA basketball and flag football coach for a few years when my kids was that age. We ended every practice reading scripture and talking about a Bible story that would relate to teamwork and things like that. I think it's a great organization that provides a lot to this community, and to be able to be part of it and maybe give more families and more people access to those facilities with a growing facility, it's a lot different than giving money to Target, right? It's not just a private entity. We have a number of other nonprofits who provide services in this community that we've dumped millions of dollars into that have provided no direct benefit of discounts to the citizens of Brainerd. That's what we'd be getting with this partnership, and I think it's different, and I think it's a really good thing.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anyone else? I think we're good. We do have a motion on the table, so otherwise I would ask you to if you had anything to put in, but I think having the motion on the table, we should probably vote on it. So unless there's any more discussion, I don't see any. So all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign.
Aye.
That motion carries.
Thank you. I do appreciate the feedback.
Thank you, Mr. Riffle. As a side from that, I didn't want to, as part of the motion, but Connie, I would be interested if there's any examples of cities and towns our size in Minnesota that have contributed to other YMCA's, and just examples of what those look like, if it's easy. All right, that is it for presentations. Moving on to number 8. Number 8, this is council committee reports. First up, we have Personnel and Finance Committee Chair Gabe Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 3 items on our committee agenda tonight. The first of which is to advertise a request for proposal for our SAHA funds. And the motion is motion for staff to advertise for proposals for available SAHA funds with a February 20th submittal deadline, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Mr. Johnson?
If you remember, we've done this the last couple of years. This is the state housing aid funds, and we have a balance of $74,605 sitting there right now. And it sounds, Connie mentioned down in committee, that we'll be getting another disbursement early this year. So we'll just go out for proposal and see if there's any developers who are looking to develop new housing in Brainerd who could use a little bit of support.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. More discussion, Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, I know, Nick, you got back to me through Eric Charpentier on that question I had. I don't know if it's answered, because when I read the document we were provided, it says and again, I don't have it in front of me, but where it talks about a housing trust fund, there's 2 items there. And I apologize for not having this in front of me, and I'm going off my memory. Is that something we can pull up, that document?
Mr. Broyles?
It's in our packet?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Yeah, Connie and I actually visited it was not long before this meeting started.
Okay.
And there was something that was in her mind that she was recalling. And she went back to a meeting in December of '23. And she found, I think, some reference material. So my short answer is, I don't have a good answer for you right now. Staff is actively working this right now. We found those minutes from December '23. I had a couple questions. I actually sent a question to Jennifer Bergman, because I was looking just for some recollection on her part. So I understand your questions. We finally found the reference that was the basis for your questions. I don't have an answer for you yet, but I'll have one, I'm sure, within the next 24 hours. We were just doing some staff work right before we came in here.
Are we able to pull that document up and go through and see where it talks about the housing trust fund? Because there's 2 items that said you have to, like, criteria we have to have.
Is it in the packet?
I don't believe it's in the packet. It's on the Department of Revenue website that gives the
That's
guidelines.
the packet I received.
Okay.
Look at the Mindor Saha eligibility.
Yep. Click on
Do
that, please.
you guys have that?
Didn't do the agenda request, but if you scroll down, it says uses of funds, keep going, right there. So it says, funds from the aid program must be spent on qualifying projects by December 31st in the 4th year following the year after the aid was received. Funds can also be considered spent if both of the following criteria are met. The county or eligible city demonstrates to the Minnesota Housing that the city or county cannot expend the funds on the qualifying project by the deadline due to factors outside the control of the city or county. And the other bullet point is that funds are transferred to a local housing trust fund.
That's the part right there. Do we qualify based on that wording? Do we have a local housing trust fund that they're?
That is what we're clarifying, whether or not, because the only local, or the local housing trust fund that we know of is the county's housing trust fund, and we do not know if that qualifies as the local housing fund
Mr.
or
Chair.
not.
Okay, and that would be why Mr. Charpentier, I don't think my question was clear as far as I wondered how that applied when we actually, and of course, my assumption is the county has the housing trust fund, the city of Brainerd does it, but unless the HRA manages that housing trust fund, which I don't quite know, that's why I was asking those questions. So that's the part, I don't know if it makes sense to anybody else, and I guess you're looking at it, so.
I think Mr. Johnson's going to try and answer that for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so this has nothing to do with the housing trust fund. It says if you don't spend the money on a qualifying project, you can transfer it to a local housing trust fund, and maybe our county trust fund counts, maybe it doesn't. We've never had to look into that, because when we've gone out to proposals before, we've always received a proposal from Habitat for Humanity, where if you read further down under qualifying projects, financial support to a nonprofit affordable housing provider in their mission to provide safe, dignified, affordable and supportive housing. Habitat fits that. That's where the money's gone in the last 2 years, so it's entirely unrelated to a housing trust fund. And if they send a proposal and we fund it again this year,
That's probably where it would go.
yeah.
Okay,
Make sense?
I'm fine with it. That's a good explanation, I appreciate it. It wasn't coming to me, so, thank you.
Got it now. All right. Any more discussion? Seeing none? Does everybody know the motion, what you're voting for? You want to restate the motion, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, the motion is to, I gotta get back up.
Right on the ceiling.
There we go. Move to direct staff to advertise for proposals for available Saha funds with a February 20th submittal deadline.
All right.
Second.
All right. We have a motion. Let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Chairman Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next one is City Code Codification Services. The motion out of committee is move to authorize staff to enter into an agreement with ALP for codification services, and I so move.
Up to 30 grand.
Up to $30,000, and I so move. Thank you.
Motion by Johnson. We have a second?
Second.
Second by Bevins. Any discussion? Mr. Johnson?
I don't support it. I'm not going to support it. I supported it to get it up here with a recommendation. I just haven't had anybody explain to me in terms I can understand where the problem is that requires spending up to $50,000 or even $30,000 on the codification. So I'm just generally a no, but the motion we're bringing out of committee is to support spending up to 30 on this process.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Bevins?
I would recommend having Mr. Kramvik explain that part.
Okay. Mr. Kramvik, you want to take a shot at that?
Or somebody on staff.
I guess, yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I can begin with it, and Nick can elaborate if there's anything that I missed. Current city code does have still cross-references to old code. There may be state statutes that are outdated there as well. Most municipalities do use more of an online platform, which is what we're proposing here. So it would be consistent with other municipalities when developers are looking into it. Certainly, right now, like our zoning code, if isn't referenced well, it's in a different spot. So there are certainly some inconsistencies from other municipalities and what you typically see with the city code. So codifying would rectify some of those issues.
Thank you, James. Mr. Broyles, you want to add anything?
I think that's a good synopsis. Again, this is gonna bring forth inconsistencies within the document. It's gonna highlight inconsistencies between our code, if it's referencing state statute. It's going to track all those state statutes that are now obsolete and adjust our code necessarily. And then as the city council passes future ordinances, we just send them the ordinance, they update the code. There's certain options out there where you can hover over definitions and you can see definitions. I think this is just a giant leap forward in professionalizing our code. It's going to be housed on the computer where people can reference it, they can access it. I'm fully supportive, but it's certainly up to the council.
Thank you, Mr. Broyles. Mr. Chesak?
Based on what I heard Nick just say, they better make this puppy accessible for screen readers. Because I think hovering is a very difficult thing, and I mean, people forget that. I'm not the only person in the world that's going to look at this with a screen reader. So make sure it's ADA accessible, because it's just a requirement, so.
Mr. Broyles?
When we did meet with American Legal Publishing, ALP, we had a meeting with them, and we asked if it was ADA accessible, and their answer was yes, and then they sent us a follow-up email, which I can't recite that email verbatim, but I did ask the question if it was ADA compatible, and they said it was. Connie, did you hear anything differently? That's what I heard, so. Okay.
Again, people, I've run across this before where they say it's compatible, but that may not be for all mediums, or maybe it's a large print or something to that effect. So just to check that if you could, make sure.
Yep. All right. The way I'm looking at it, I guess we had $50,000 budgeted this year to do this. It was something that we already spoke about. If it makes it easier for developers to come in and do their research in trying to get something going in our city, then I'm all for it. Obviously, we don't want to spend any money on just rewriting rules, but if it makes it more clear, I think that's a benefit for everybody. Mr. Kramvik, did you have another comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So just wanted to kind of elaborate on the definitions if there's any concern. So the definitions would still be all in city code and easily accessible. The hovering option would just be a tool for staff to be able to not have to go back and reference those. And be able to hover over that, but it still would be in city code with those definitions.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion? Okay. Again, could you restate the motion, Mr. Johnson?
I'm already on the next item again.
Okay.
Can you scroll there for me? I just read it. Move to authorize staff to enter into agreement with ALP for codification services.
All right.
Limited to $30,000.
30,000, okay.
We're saving money.
Yeah.
If there's no further discussion, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign.
Oops. I'm actually against.
Switching your vote?
Yeah, no.
That motion carries. Chairman Johnson.
All right, let's see if we can get this last one done. All right, franchise fees discussion, and the motion out of committee is to direct staff to continue further development for a franchise fee structure along the lines in the presentation, which include engagement with the electrical and natural gas utilities on next steps, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Chairman Johnson.
And again, it was a split that Kelly made the motion and I just seconded, voted, so we would have a recommendation to discuss here at the full council. I oppose on 2 counts. 1, we are working on our payment in lieu of taxes rate with the Public Utility Commission right now, and I'd hate to add in another fee on top of that fee and muddy the waters that we're talking about 2 things at once. We should probably talk about 1 thing at once. But secondly, and overall bigger, I generally don't like franchise fees, so I will be voting no if I remember this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I spoke in favor of this, which I will hear. Regarding our Public Utilities Commission and the pilot program, I think if we are going to consider franchise fees, I think it'd be best to let them know now. I think it's part of the bigger discussion as to where we go with rates and how they contribute to the city of Brainerd in lieu of taxes. But as far as franchise fees in general, I've spoke in favor of them all the time. I always liken this to the city of Minnetonka. The city of Minnetonka, when they assess a project, they assess the entire city, every single property owner. Now, they do property owners, not utility billings, but the thought process is everybody benefits, everybody pays. It makes it much easier to budget for the smaller amount on a monthly basis than it is to get hit with the big assessments. The other thing is it eliminates the argument of, well, I benefit and you don't, or you benefit and I don't. It puts a lot of lawyers out of business. And the other thing is this doesn't enact franchise fees. It just asks staff to put together a model of how would it look and bring it back to us. I like that. I'd like to see how it would work. My question in committee was, how do you justify a large utility user in my house? And then there is a strategy on how other communities do this, and I'd like to see how they do it. I wouldn't like to make a decision on franchisees without first seeing a model of how it could work for the city of Brainerd.
Right, I agree. I think there's a lot of detail that we still need to learn before we make an informed decision on whether we're gonna go with franchise fees or not, but I don't wanna close the door on it until I know whether I'm a yes or no. Because I do probably sit on the fence on this one. I can see the good and the bad that might come with it. But Mr. Chesak, you have something?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so Utility Commission, they don't assess anybody for a project. The water is a cost the city picks up, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm trying to understand your comment, Mr. Bevins. Why is it important for the Utility Commission to know about this when, I mean, I get the process, how it works. Everybody pays a fee based on their electric or whatever service they're getting, whatever gas or electric. And so, part of me likes that idea to have, now everybody's contributing to property assessments for like street improvements. So that seems to be a more actual fair way of doing it. When so many people don't pay. And, but I don't understand the connection, if you could entertain me on that, the connection between public utilities and this particular franchise fee.
Just as strictly, Mr. Chesak, as a matter of full disclosure, I'd hate to have them go through the whole process of a rate study and our request of building the pilot program from 3 to 4 to 5% without knowing that we're also considering franchise fees. It's just a matter of full disclosure. Let them know now that as a matter of fact, the presentation from staff should come back to all of us, including the Public Utilities Commission. But I just didn't want to keep them out of the loop now and then tell them, oh, thanks, now that you've worked out the pilot question. Remember, they only approved the first year, the 3%. I would just as soon have them know everything as we know it.
Okay, fair enough.
That's all.
Okay.
And they're our utility. So you're not going to do this without letting Excel Energy know.
I just thought there was something more to it that I didn't.
No, no, it's just a matter of.
Fair enough.
Okay. Mr. Mayor.
Oh, you hit one of my boiling points. I will continue to say this every time these come up. Franchise fees are ridiculous. They are simply taxation without representation. I'm looking at it right here. Under the comments and input were as follows from the Government Affairs Committee meeting. Isn't it just a tax? Call it what it is. Yes, it is just a tax. Call it what it is. Why not just go with a higher levy? For the exact reason that you cannot hold us responsible when we do it. That's exactly what this is. Why not spread it all out? Why not make it less of a burden at one point? It's because it's easy for us to then hide the money. That's what it is. Taxation without representation. I will fall on this sword every single time. Take a look into why these things were created in the first place, and then take a look at how they created laws to create a pass-through. It's supposed to be the corporations and whatnot paying for these, but they create pass-through laws in order to make you, the citizens, pay for stuff that is improvements that should be paid for by the corporations, as Jeff said earlier. Why is the government paying individual corporations money? Well, it's a great example of why. And this is one of the things that I am very staunchly opposed to, because when we raise your taxes, you should be able to come sit in these chairs, look us in the eyes, and tell us, you're raising my taxes, you're raising them too much. In this case, it's just a fee, guys. It's just a fee. That's all it is. It's not a tax, it's just a fee. Staunchly opposed, will continue to oppose every single time these come up. Thank you.
Thank you for the hot take. That's the hottest mayoral take we've had in a while.
It's my burning point.
I can tell. Anyone else? Have any input? Okay. If not, then we're going to go to a vote. So if you're voting yes, you're voting in favor of getting some information back on these franchise fees. If you're voting no, then you're voting to stop anything as far as looking forward into this. So all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Against, same sign.
Aye.
That would be 3 against.
3-3.
Okay.
Maybe we should.
Oh, man, you know what I am. That is a no.
Saw that one coming. Motion fails.
I feel blindsided.
Chairman Johnson.
End of report.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Moving on, next is 8B. We have Safety and Public Works Committee Chairman Tad Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've got 4 items on our agenda, the first of which is cooperative construction agreement with Trunk Highway 210 Washington Street Reconstruction Project. Motion coming out of committee is to approve the attached cooperative construction agreement for the Trunk Highway 210 Washington Street Reconstruction Project, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chesak.
Attached is, I'm not going to say it again, the agreement between the city and MnDOT for the upcoming Trunk Highway 210 Washington Street Reconstruction Project. Staff and attorneys have reviewed and commented on the proposed agreement, came to committee, we discussed it. Staff provided valuable information, and we're recommending the approval of the agreement. Obviously, this is the reconstruction project for 210, upcoming here 2027.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, Mr. President, I asked in committee to go through this line by line, and they refused. And I'm still disappointed about that. So anyway, that's all I got.
Just glad you're not asking now. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Against, same sign.
Resolution.
Oh, it's a resolution. How many more of these we got? Okay. Tony, go ahead.
Erickson.
Yes.
Bevins.
Yes.
Chesak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Yeager.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes. That resolution carries. And I do not see a resolution.
Doesn't say it anywhere in the title. Yeah. Ooh, that's tough.
She got me on that. You did that on purpose, Tony. I see what you're doing. All right, Chairman Erickson, go ahead.
All right, our second item related is a construction observation proposal for Trunk Highway 210 Washington Street reconstruction project. Motion coming out of committee is to award the construction observation contract for Trunk Highway 210 Washington Street reconstruction project to SEH in the amount of $268,000, and I so move.
Motion by Erickson,
Second.
second by Chesak. Chairman Erickson?
So as part of the agreement, the city is going to be responsible for some of the water and wastewater. And so staff solicited proposals for construction observation, it's basically inspection for the water main and sanitary sewer portions of the upcoming project. The two proposals received were in the packet, and the motion, as was stated, was for the SCH one in that dollar amount, $268,000.
Chairman Erickson, more discussion from anyone? Mr. Johnson?
I'm really happy to see that 268 was against essentially 276. So they were really close, and that's got to honestly be what it costs. So I like to see that.
Very good. More discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Is this one a resolution, Tony? All right, just making sure. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
All right, our third item is a final pay request for improvement 2408 M Street outfall. Motion coming out of committee is to pay the final request for improvement 2408 in the amount of $18,170.95, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chesak. Chairman Erickson?
You'll recall this came before us several times. This is the M Street outfall repair. There was a swale that was causing some water and outfall, and we fixed the problem by extending the pipe beyond the swale and repaired some fence and the swale as well. And this is the final payment.
All right, thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
Our last item, there is no motion. This is a discussion item for the pooling of engineering services, a letter of interest. So staff is requesting that council review and discuss not only the Safety and Public Works Committee, but also council to review and discuss this proposal that would provide, there's 15 different categories where we could pool engineering services to provide bids. What this would do is it would really streamline for staff. For each of these proposals, they've got a request for proposals. These engineering firms put together these detailed proposals. A lot of staff time goes into reviewing them, of course, as they should. I would ask, Mr. President, if I could turn it over to Mr. Sandy to kind of give a little bit of the background that he gave to the committee. We didn't have a motion, so we wanted to give Mr. Sandy the opportunity to kind of share what he shared with us, with the full council.
Okay, Mr. Sandy.
Thank you, Mr. President, and Chair Erickson. So historically, the city has, for any types of professional services related to our public works projects, when the council has allowed us to go and solicit services, we've typically created an RFP document which requests the services from consultants and gone out to either a selected, call it pool of consultants, or to all consultants in general, and ask them to provide proposals for services for that specific project. What this pool structure does is, is going back to how we currently do things, we ask in every one of these proposals for consultants' qualifications, their work experience, what types of projects have they done. This is really streamlining that portion of the RFP process and putting more of the city in the driver's seat as far as having contracts, master services agreements already in place with our pooled consultants to make procurement timelines much more streamlined, less burdensome from staff. We've gone through the qualifications process and scored consultants based on their project experience, their qualifications, their personnel on the front end. They get more or less pre-qualified into a pool structure in one of these 15 categories or multiple of these 15 categories that they are interested in pursuing. And then when we are soliciting for services, Staff is just tasked with coming up with a basic task order that says, here is the scope of work we would like the consultant to perform. Here are the assumptions we would like you to make as far as how many working days on a contract or what the schedule is. Here, we have your standard rate schedule locked in on an annual basis. And so every year that the consultant is in the pool, they're required to send us their annual rate schedule, and that is a negotiated item every time it comes before us. Some of the comments that I got from SPW is that the 5-year timeline was maybe a little bit too much. And so some of the recommendations that came from SPW were to drop that down to a 2-year pool timeline and to also limit the amount that city staff can go to the pool for either a direct selection or in most cases like a mini RFP or a task order that multiple consultants within that pool category would be able to throw their price on. Once the pool is set up, the efficiency comes in. Staff has set the expectations, they set the scope of work, the schedule, the assumptions that they are to make, and then 99% of the time you can make the determination for the contract solely based on price. And so that's where the streamline comes in. All of your master services contracts are in place, then you're just executing task orders after this. The other thing SPW recommended is maybe we put a cap on where and when we use the pool. So it was mentioned, I think, $300,000, that anything under $300,000 we would go to the pool. I wanted to get Jesse's take on that to see where our city reconstruction resurfacing projects of recent have come in when we've went out for professional services, because that is the category that I think is probably the most burdensome with releasing RFPs. And it's 99% of the time the same consultants that are responding to these RFPs. So I think we want to try to find what that balance point is and set that limit to whatever it is, 350, 400, so that if something's over that, like an Oak Street project that you guys, I think the contract was around 850, that would be a full-blown like solicitation to all consultants. But this pool, I think, just for those smaller, pretty standard city contracts that we enter into on a regular basis, this would streamline that process substantially for staff and for the consultant industry. I think it also has the opportunity to, if we post this on the League of Minnesota Cities website, we're going to be able to expand our consultant reach quite a bit, because these are the types of services that consultants that are outside the Brainerd area are going to have interest in getting into the pool and being sent these task orders when stuff comes up for the city.
Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Mr. Dean, did you have something you wanted to add to that? I know he was asking you in a roundabout way.
Yeah, I can just add to the comment. So I'll use the upcoming Southeast Brainerd reconstruction project as a kind of a data point. That proposal came in at about $430,000 for that project. And staff did quite a bit of the heavy lift at the start with some of the surveying work. So if you were to consult all of that out, including the initial survey work, it would come in probably a little bit higher than that. So my thought is if you wanted to capture kind of our standard reconstruction projects, you'd be looking closer to like $500,000.
Okay. Mr. Dean, thank you.
Can I just ask, you said 1,230,000. Is that?
430.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood. Thank you.
I guess I would refer to SPW. I heard part of your conversation. I like the recommendations as far as limiting to 2 years. I liked visiting that idea to cap it. But is this conversation falling in line with those numbers that you guys were thinking? Mr. Erickson, I know you had your hand up.
Well, it's a little higher than what was suggested, but I think, I'm open to taking Jesse's recommendation. He's most familiar with the types of numbers of contracts that are coming in, so.
Mr. Yeager?
Yeah, I would agree. I just threw out the $300,000 number in comparison to some other times that we've done this service agreement with some other entities. So now knowing that a lot of our projects that we're trying to capture with this, the threshold is maybe a little better balanced at 500, then that would be my thinking. But I definitely want to see a cap, so we don't just default no matter what it is. So.
Erickson?
Yeah, and somehow I can't find it here, but Paul, could you elaborate on that, if it's all right with the chair, or the president, the timeline? You're gonna be taking this to Park Board, PUC, and then it'll come back. You're gonna be asking them for discussion, just like you are with us tonight, and then it'll come back to us, of course.
Yeah, because this pool structure has the intent would be to apply this across all public works type functions in the city. We would bring PUC at their next meeting into this discussion, take any recommendations or feedback from them. Similarly, the Park Board at their meeting on the 27th, similar conversation with them, and then bring the final RFP back to the city council for final approval to let it out on the street in early February.
Okay. Johnson?
Yeah, I definitely support having a threshold and support the idea of the threshold being in the right spot to capture the projects we're doing this for. I think this sounds like a great idea and really efficient. One question I have on the, to getting into the pool, what if we're in a 5-year term or 2-year term? How does can a new engineering firm just jump in mid-pool, and how would they know how to do that?
Typically, if you can go multiple ways with this, I've seen cities do more of an informal pool where you can more or less ask your way and submit your qualifications as if you were outside of the solicitation period. If the city really wanted to stick to the formal pool structure, we would ask that when consultants get this RFP that they respond in the timeline that's requested in the RFP. And I think the shorter timeline of 2 years just helps that, because we're not having the pool for a 5-year term and you're locked out until that 5 years expires, so 2031 in this example. I think that would help that situation where 99% of the consultants are going to jump all over this and say, we want to be in Brainerd's pool, and so let's submit our qualifications for category 7, 9, 11, 14, and make sure we put our best shot at getting in there this first time, because then they'll start receiving hopefully solicitations for projects, and then they get hired to do something. So that's the only way you gain experience with the city, know the city's standard details and specifications. I think one of the huge benefits of a pool is you have consistent consultants working on your projects, and they get to learn city staff, the city's system for reviewing plans, approving plans, the city's specifications, the city's details. That all is just inherent knowledge that you gain with experience. And it gets away from consultants that want to get their foot in the door, and they will assume a whole bunch of stuff on a proposal and try to beat everyone to the bottom just to get their foot in the door. And then they're in front of the council multiple times with fee amendments because they're saying, we assumed it was only going to be 30 days of construction. It's gone 60. That's how people race to the bottom of trying to get. And if we're driving that process rather than the consultants and saying, you will assume this amount of time for construction, you will assume this many reviews of your plans at 30, 60, 90, 100, then everyone's playing from the same playing field.
Okay, yeah, so knowing that, I appreciate the explanation. I would definitely support like a 2-year term over a 5 or 10-year term, because if you're going 5 years or longer, it's almost acting as a gatekeeper from startup or smaller companies to get an opportunity to do work. So I love this idea, but I think the shorter term, just so it is rolling over and people have that opportunity to submit their qualifications on a regular basis.
Yeah, and there's
Benefit
also
everybody.
verbiage in the RFP that states that we have the opportunity, if you're doing a really good job in this category and we've seen successful projects with you, you don't necessarily have to submit your qualifications for the next pool term. Your experience speaks for yourself,
Yeah.
right? New consultants would have the opportunity, if we open the solicitation, to say, hey, we want to be a part of this category now. Or if someone is non-performance, we have the ability to say, hey, you've had a couple projects go south on you. We're taking you out of this pool category because of that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, Mr. President, it sounds like Mr. Sandy has had an awful lot of experience in the private engineering consulting services field.
It really does.
I appreciate that
Yep.
input.
Almost an expert. I
I
don't know.
laugh because one of my old coworkers is sitting in the crowd over here.
I don't know if we're looking.
Who sneered instantly.
So it sounds like this is gonna still go to Park Board, Public Utilities. It'll come back here with a more detailed recommendation. I don't think we really need a motion. I think general
Staff has enough
consensus
direction, I think.
seems like we have some consensus up here, so, look forward to seeing this again in another month or so.
First meeting in February, it'll be
Okay.
back.
All right, Chairman Erickson,
End of report, thanks.
thank you. All right, moving on to number 9, this is unfinished business. First up, 9A is a call for applicants.
Oh,
First up, we have the mayor.
I am just as passionate about these commissions as I am about franchise fees. The following boards and commissions have
Hopefully you like them
positions.
more.
Well, passionate it was a very specific word. The following boards and commissions have positions available on them. Charter Commission, 2 terms expiring 2029, 2 terms expiring 2026. Economic Development Authority, 1 term expiring 2028, 1 term expiring 2031. Library Board, 1 term expiring 2027. Park Board, 1 board expiring 2029. Public Utilities, 1 term expiring 2028, 1 term expiring 2030. And the Transportation Advisory Committee, 1 term expiring 2026 and 2 terms expiring 2027.
And as council president, I have 1 opening with 1 term for the Airport Commission expiring 2028, 1 term open on the Planning Commission expiring 2028, and 2 open spots on the Water Tower Committee. Next up, we have 9B. This is a call for a public hearing in order for the orderly annexation along Riverside Drive. I believe this is Mr. Kramvik. Take it away.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So City Council directed staff to work with Crow Wing County staff to draft an orderly annexation agreement for Riverside Drive. The proposed agreement included in the packet has been reviewed by city and county staff as well as the city and county attorneys. The attached joint resolution needs both city and county approval in order to execute the proposed agreement. If executed, the proposed agreement does not immediately annex properties into the city of Brainerd, but it does designate an annexation area, which is an exhibit to the agreement. Any property in the annexation area is then subject to the agreement. If approved, staff would bring a subsequent resolution in the next few months for City Council to consider annexing properties that are adjacent to existing municipal utilities and properties that are surrounded by the city of Brainerd, which would be considered island properties in the agreement. This would be a city resolution that would only need City Council approval if the orderly annexation agreement is already in place. Ashman Road would not be immediately annexed into the city of Brainerd and may take several years to initiate an annexation. If annexation is initiated for Ashman Road, the city would be required to provide utilities to those properties within 2 years. So again, it may take several years, but designating Ashman Road in the orderly annexation area does give the city the ability to begin planning for utilities. Also to note, we do have a shared maintenance agreement currently with the county for Ashman Road, which pertains to light maintenance as well as plowing. A published notice to designate an area is required. However, a public hearing is not required for an orderly annexation agreement. Staff does recommend that a public hearing should be conducted at the February 17th City Council meeting along with consideration of the joint resolution. Just want to note staff mistakenly listed February 16th in the agenda, but it is President's Day. And with that, I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Does anybody have questions for Mr. Kramvik? Doesn't look like we have any questions right now. I guess, just if you could quickly explain how this isn't forced annexation, because that's illegal. If I were on Riverside Drive, I'm not annexed into the city, but I'm considering it, or say my septic is running its course and it's time to either replace it or connect to the city, how does this agreement ultimately affect that person?
So if this agreement is in place by the city and county, staff would then have to bring a resolution to annex those properties. So we would recommend essentially doing that annexation for properties that are adjacent to municipal utilities as well as those island properties to clean things up. What it doesn't do is force a connection. So that the connection would only be subsequent if they fail to do their septic inspections or if their septic is actually failing. So if City Council would approve a future resolution, properties would then be annexed as part of the agreement, but they could delay actually connecting to the utilities until their septic fails.
Okay, so this is essentially an agreement between the city and the county that will go to a judge to make a final decision if we both agree on this. Is that the way this goes?
So that's correct. If both would agree to it, a judge would take a look at it. There are provisions in this agreement that state that essentially the city and county are good with the map, so it's a little bit limited on what they can do with that judgment. They're just making sure that everything's in place for that agreement. Okay. And then the judge would then also review at a later date, if city council approves a resolution to annex these properties, they would review that resolution, I believe, hold their own hearing on that, making sure that that resolution meets all the requirements of the orderly annexation agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Still no further questions? Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I just want clarification on this. The county is on board with this. They're kind of leading the way on this.
County staff, it hasn't been presented to the board yet, but we have been working very closely with county staff.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I?
Yeah, Mr. Chesak.
Do you have any idea when it will be presented to the county board?
So I have had conversations with Chris Pence over there. I believe it would probably be after the meeting that we'd have here, so they'd be able to hear potentially public comment as well as the city's, I guess, stance on the orderly annexation agreement. So that was my understanding. It'd be at a meeting probably just after the city's consideration.
Thank you.
All right. So staff is looking for a motion to call for that public hearing at the second meeting in February. Would that be the 17th then?
And that would be the 17th because Monday is President's Day.
So moved, Johnson.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Chesak. Any discussion on the motion? None, let's go to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Against, same sign. Motion carries. All right, moving on, number 10 is new business. It looks like we have none tonight. So moving on to 11 is staff reports. Tony Gage? Jesse Dean? Chief Davis? Nothing, sir. Thank you. Sean Strong? Nothing. Chief Holmes? Nothing to report, thank you. Max Hennon?
Come on, Max.
Nothing to report.
Donnie Hellman? Okay, Mike Habgorst?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Man, we're going quick tonight, James. It's
gonna be James.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got a couple items.
James, attaboy. Attaboy.
So speaking of annexation, staff did want to make council aware that Chris Dunmire's annexation request was denied by a Minnesota judge due to the fact that he was adjacent to our municipal utilities. Staff had originally contacted the municipal boundary line adjustment and indicated that Dunmire's property was connected to our utilities. The office indicated that the proximity of municipal utilities has never been an issue in the past as long as the property is that they are petitioning. So for instance, the city of Brainerd, it's our own utilities there. The judge did have a different interpretation of state statute and denied the petition. So with that, staff is working with Oaklawn Township as well as Mr. Dunmire on an orderly annexation agreement, which was the judge's recommendation to proceed with the potential annexation. Also, Minnesota Central Dermatology has submitted their $10,000 escrow and application for public finance to purchase the industrial park properties at $1 per acre. They would want to note that they're very excited for the potential project, and the EDA will be reviewing the PDA at an upcoming meeting. That's everything.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Attorney Langle.
I just want to say, since this is the last time I'll probably see Chris, that it was a pleasure working with you all these years. Really enjoyed that, and I wish you the best in your retirement. Nothing further.
Thank you, Mr. Langle. We're going to come back to you, Chris. Paul Sandy?
We do have a Public Utilities Commission meeting coming up next week, Tuesday. Some of the highlights from that agenda are we have Bolton and Mink working on a proposal for us for new water treatment plant siting and location for a new well. We do have some recommendations for oversizing and extension of water main and sanitary sewer infrastructure for the Voyager Heights project that the commission will be reviewing. We'll be reviewing the pool engineering services RFP with the commission. As a part of our comprehensive policy review, we do have two policies. They're historical policies. They're going through a few updates, format wise, and a few updates that we've been working through as staff. And so the commission will continually be seeing some of our policies come before them and get them into a standard format. We have a couple of other things on the agenda, and that includes, given the success of our dam tour video that's posted on BPU's website. We're starting to do the same things for our water treatment plant and our wastewater treatment plant. And so we will be, hopefully, the commission will be approving getting some video services to have our residents tour our water treatment facility, much like we had full tours of the dam. It had over, I think, 24,000 views for our dam video. And so it's a great way for the public to be able to enter those facilities and see how they get their water and how their wastewater is treated. So that'll be on the next commission agenda also. But there's a multitude of other items, and I would welcome the city council to take a peek at the agenda and ask any questions you have of staff.
Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Eric Charpentier.
Nothing to report?
All right. Mr. Broyles.
Well, Joe cracked the ice, but I just want to say a couple comments. So with sadness and joy, I would like to recognize Chris Schubert for 37 years of service to the city of Brainerd. I mean, that's remarkable. I did 20 years in the military. I thought that was a long time, but I can't hold a candle to 37 years. So I've been here for 2 years. Chris has been a blessing to me, as all the directors have been. And I just wish her, sorrow because she's going to be gone, but joy because she's entering the next season of life. So I just wish you all of God's blessings, and thank you for your service. And that's all I wanted to say. And the Charter Commission meeting tomorrow at 4:30.
Excellent. Okay. Now we can go back to Chris. Chris Schubert, your final meeting.
Nothing to report.
Oh, no.
Man, that's good from HR, though.
The buildup of 37 years. Checked out.
That means she cleared her desk before she left. It's good. It's good.
All right, Mr. Mayor.
All right. First of all, Chris, I want to say thank you. We'll have more opportunity on Friday to talk with you, with our staff and whatnot. But just thanks more than anything. Thank you for being the person that continually reminded me that I have to fill out my documents for health insurance at some time within the year. So I just want to say thank you to that for putting up with my nonsense on a regular basis. So, secondly, Eric, I know we keep asking you, but can I get an update on 805 Laurel Street?
Yes, so the developer is still entertaining the development. They do not have the funding for that gap that they have needed to find from the funding that they did not get from Minnesota Housing. No further developments as far as timelines have been discussed with me. I do try to touch base with them every month to every 2 months. They are still committed to having a development at that site. They have invested a lot of money into that. Certainly there's been some grant dollars that have been utilized there as well. But everything that they have continued to tell me is that they do see a development in the future. I just do not have a timeline.
Okay, can you clarify for me, because there was some movement from, is it the Housing Trust or with some dollars that were potentially reallocated, or could you clarify that?
Yep.
Just so people are aware?
Yeah, so the Crow Wing County HRA, who oversees the Crow Wing County Housing Trust Fund, did approve a loan for them back in 2025. Yep, it was in 2025. Since there has not been any movement in there as far as the start date, that HRA board did rescind that loan approval. And so that is no longer active. I did speak with the developer about that. They were aware of that. They understood that because that start date has not come to fruition yet, that those funds would be rescinded. They are still allowed to reapply for those funds or for any certain funding from the Housing Trust Fund. It wasn't a denial due to the project. It was a denial or a rescission due to the timeline,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is because I recently got tagged in a Facebook post by people. People out in the community are interested to see what's going on. This is a project that has been in the works for 5 years, I'd say, maybe more. I mean, it feels like my entirety of my time on the council. It's a location that I think is vital to Brainerd, and its development is super important. And so at this point, I just want to say to the citizens of Brainerd, I no longer support this project. I think this is a key location in our city, and I'd like to see somebody else take a crack at it. It saddens me that some grant dollars were used to remove a building. Hopefully that creates a better situation in which we can get something built. But at this point, I just want to make it clear to the public that I no longer support this project. I'd like to see someone else take a crack at this and get something done. So, end of report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for the update, Mr. Charpentier. Moving on to council member reports. Let's start with Mr. Chesak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank Chief Davis for sending out some very professional suggestions to a local property management and talking about trespassing, controlled entries and stuff like that. It really helped a lot, I do believe. And Chris, thank you for all the patience you've had with me. And it was always fun fighting with you. And I do appreciate all the help you've given me. So, and also the meeting tomorrow with the Charter Commission and Utility Commission. I'll be going to that. And next Tuesday for the Utility Commission. That is really starting to boom with everything going on. I think Mr. Sandy would agree, and of course the other staff involved. So I would like to say that be careful out there. There's a lot of ice on the streets, so be careful.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Let's go to Mr. Yeager.
Oh, thank you very much. I wasn't expecting that. So real quickly here, I will just give you the airport update. As you see, Mr. Planzer's not here, and our new director's not here. Nothing is wrong. Everything is okay. We just, the last month, we had some obstacles. We had some airport commission members that had some concerns with the employment agreement with our new director, so we kind of went back to the board, but everyone's happy. We've kind of gotten through those, and it's my belief that the airport commission will be adopting the new employment agreement for our new director, Jennifer Roach, on Monday evening. Special meeting has been called so we can get her going, and I'm super anxious to get her in front of you all, introduce everybody, and get her acclimated to her new surroundings out there. And as I'm sure you all remember, and just mention again, our morning flights are back. So morning flights are coming back, thanks to the hard work of all the people involved. This was no small task to get this done, but we are getting our early morning flights back at our airport. I believe that begins March 8th. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's March 8th. So that will lead me into, I'd like to thank Chris for her help with this new employee contract. So probably maybe one of the last things you worked on here, but I won't be here on Friday, but I did just want to say thank you for everything that you've done in the 1 or 17 times that I was called into your office for conduct or whatever it may be. You were always very kind and very, very easygoing and generous with my behavior. So I really appreciate that, and I wish you the best, absolutely, 100%. So that's all.
Mr. President, may I ask Mr. Yeager a question about the airport, the flight?
Sure.
So this is the larger plane that seats, 80, 90 passengers?
This should be our 50. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that and we don't know that for 100% sure, but that'll either be our CRJ, that'll be our 50-seater or our 70-seater.
Staying overnight in Brainerd, or is it flying in from outside?
That should be staying overnight the night before and then leaving the morning before, leaving early morning. So we anticipate that our early morning flight will be leaving between the 6:20 to 6:40 range, which should allow everybody to make their connections at MSP and then same late night returning flight. So fantastic. Back to our old original, our old original itinerary out there.
Okay. All right, let's go over to Mr. Bevins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chris Schubert, it's been a long time. I'm going to miss you. Go have some fun. You can still come to these things, you know. Thursday, 2 days from now, 8 to 9 at the center is the Brainerd Northside Neighborhood Association meeting. That does include donuts. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 4:30, right here, is the Charter Commission meeting. And then at 5:30 tomorrow night, it's the Library Board meeting. So lots of excitement and robust conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bevins. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also tomorrow night, Planning Commission meeting, 6 p.m. here. And then the following evening, Thursday, Region 5 Development Commission. Chris, congratulations, and thank you very much for all the assistance and help you've provided me over the years. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Chairman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, Chris, there's 2 words I wrote down. They've already been used multiple times, but I want to thank you for all your kindness and especially the patience you've had with me for the last 12 years. And I really thank you for your professionalism and dedicating so many years of your life to helping this city. And I really appreciate it. And I wish you well in retirement. And I hope you have a lot of fun with your grandkids and your cows. Get to work on the farm now.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. I want to reiterate that. I know, Chris, I think you've been around here for 5 years. I can't imagine what 37 years feels like, but you made a huge impact in this city. So thank you for all that work that you've done. Thank you for keeping us all in line, making sure, just like the mayor said, we have our paperwork in on time or way too late. But you told me the other day you're going to be working on a ranch from now on. So, I mean, maybe not quite as fun as being in here, but hopefully you're wearing a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, maybe a long duster.
What's it like to work here longer than some of these guys have been alive?
Not quite.
Well, almost.
Not quite. We're close, though. But thank you for everything, Chris. I think we should probably adjourn to your retirement gathering Friday, just in case we have 4 councilmen there. So looking for that motion to adjourn to
So move, Johnson.
City Hall on Friday at 1, correct? Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. All those in favor say.
It's here.
City Hall.
Council chambers, yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against same sign. We are adjourned.